HR issues can kill you. One complaint against your company can turn your world upside down. And you spend way too much time dealing with HR when you should be spending your time on making a profit. You should talk to Bambi. With Bambi, get access to your own dedicated US-based HR manager starting at just $99 per month. They get to know you and your business while providing HR expertise and the personal touch you need and want. They're available by phone, email, and real-time chat, so onboarding and terminations run smoothly. Team members reach peak performance, and your business stays compliant with changing HR regulations. And with Bambi's HR Autopilot, you'll automate important HR practices like setting policies, training, and feedback. HR managers can easily cost $80,000 a year, but Bambi starts at $99 per month. Schedule your free conversation today to see how much Bambi can take off your plate. Go to Bambi.com right now and type in Accelerate under podcast when you sign up. It'll really help the show. Spelled BAM, BEE.com. Bambi.com. Type in Accelerate.
Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The Name Your Price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Welcome to Accelerate Your Business Growth with your host, Diane Helbig. Diane is a leading small business development and leadership coach, author, and speaker who is passionate about sharing valuable ideas, tips, and techniques with business professionals worldwide. Diane brings you the world's experts and gurus in all things business, whether it's sales, structure, social media, planning, or plateauing. Guests bring their expertise and energy to each episode. When growing your business is your focus, Accelerate Your Business Growth is the show to listen to. Got a topic or guest suggestion? Let Diane know. The goal is to make sure you have the information you need to move your business forward. Thanks for joining us. Settle in and enjoy.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Today's podcast is sponsored by Audible.com. Now, while you might know, I would imagine you do know, that Audible.com has audiobooks and thousands of titles. What you might not know is all the other audio entertainment that they have to offer. So we are offering you a free trial so you can check it out for yourself. You can go to audibletrial.com/businessgrowth. And explore. Look around. Find the stuff that resonates with you. Over the years, the Accelerate Your Business Growth podcast has continued to gain recognition as a great resource for small business owners, entrepreneurs, sales professionals. We have had the honor of being included on a number of lists of the best podcasts to listen to for a variety of reasons. And it's a pretty big honor. I feel really good about that. And I also know that it is because of the guests. These are folks who have expertise in particular areas of business. And they join me to share that expertise with all of you. Goal is that you get answers, information, education, the things that you need to make decisions, do better things in your business so you can be more successful. Today is no different. Today, my guest is Rob Ristagno. Rob is the founder and CEO of Sterling Woods Group and a keynote speaker focused on sharing new ways to use data to drive business results. Rob combines his expertise in data science with proven sales and marketing strategies to help established middle market companies quickly generate new revenue by improving the way they gather and utilize data. Thanks so much for joining me today, Rob.
I am grateful to be here. Thank you, Diane.
Absolutely. And I want to just, start at laying a foundation and ask you to explain what data mining is and then how it can transform a business.
Sure. I think that data mining can sound really scary at first. So there's definitely a crawl, walk, run approach to data mining. It could be as simple as collecting different data points that you have throughout your organization already and drawing some inferences. And then, of course, it could scale all the way up to machine learning and artificial intelligence and all these buzzwords that you hear. But the main thing that we espouse is that data mining can start at the basics, and you can get lots of valuable pieces of information, simple pieces of information that you can take action on, grow your business as a result, and then it gets kind of addicting, and then you want to kind of get up into the more advanced things. But I think sometimes data mining is scary. Sometimes it sounds too nerdy or whatever. But it's really a friend to any sort of executive who wants to grow their business.
That's interesting. Okay, because it does feel sort of big and expensive. So
yeah.
So where is the data that companies are mining?
Yeah, there's a lot more data that you have that you don't realize you have. In fact, studies have shown that 70 to 75% of data never gets touched by an organization.
Wow.
So at the simplest level, presumably you have sales. So you have a lot of data around who your customers are, what they're buying, when they're buying it, how they're buying it. So that's usually data that people don't think about when it comes to mining stuff. You also have any sort of digital presence data. So web traffic, web events, your email marketing, your social platforms, there's lots of data there. And that can really be a lot, but there's also some basic stuff that is helpful in steering your business. And the third type of data that you can mine is primary research, meaning going out and just talking and surveying your customers. And sometimes that's the most impactful data to mine, and it's not too time consuming or expensive to go out and actually get going on, get started with tomorrow.
That's really interesting. I don't know if people would think about surveying their clients and data mining as the same thing. Like, that sort of surprised me when you said it.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to the point that there's different degrees of data mining.
Yeah.
And when you launch that first survey and you can slice and dice the results and get some meaningful ways to treat different types of customers in different ways, it's going to open your eyes to some of the more advanced ways of data mining.
Okay. Now, talk to me some about old data and what a company can do with it.
Yeah. So presumably, let's just focus on one of those three types of data. Let's focus on transactional data or your sales history data.
Yeah.
Chances are you have this data from all the way back to the inception of your company. Now maybe it's different formats, different databases, but it exists. So you can do some basic things right off the bat, and you'll need a statistician, but the computational power has come a long way and the costs have come way down. So it's not as expensive as it used to be. But you can look at that data for patterns, such as if customer bought product X, how likely are they to buy product Y or Z? So sort of we're all familiar with Amazon. You see at the bottom of the page, customers who bought this also bought that. You can look at your data and figure out what those patterns look like, and that helps your sales efforts or your marketing efforts in terms of saying, hey, let's go talk to all the people who bought X. We see they're likely to buy Y. Let's try to get them to purchase Y. The other thing you can do with your historical sales data is segment your customers, and you'll probably find that not all customers are created equal when it comes to profitability. And if you can build a grid or a map, and you can imagine, hey, these customers are our most profitable customers. What do they have in common? And these customers are least profitable, and what do they have in common? And usually when we work with companies to do that analysis, we find that they're spending the same amount of marketing dollars and the same amount of sales effort going after the low value customers as they are after the high value customers. So right there's an opportunity for you to say, hey, wait a minute, why are we giving the same amount of effort to the low value customers? We should be trying to drive them to self-service or find some lower cost to serve way for them. And we should be doubling down on our high value types of customers, because that's really where we're going to be able to find opportunities to grow both our revenues and our profits.
Wow, that's really interesting. Okay, like as you're talking about it, I'm thinking about, I think, not just the segmentation, but really being able to zero in on a particular market for a particular product or service that then you wrap your marketing around so that your efforts are more strategic.
Exactly. And I like to say that segmentation is the only free lunch in marketing. If you've taken a finance class, you've probably learned diversification is the only free lunch in finance, where you can simultaneously lower your risk and increase your return. And in marketing, I think it's segmentation that does that. So we see companies that cut 25% of their sales and marketing budget and stop going after their poor segments. And they reinvest part of that to go after their most attractive segments. And as a result, you're saving money on the marketing and sales side, while also growing your sales on the revenue side. So it's really a double whammy.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, so talk to me some about what a CEO can do with the data, like in terms of investing in predictable growth.
Yeah, I think the first thing the CEO can do is come up with some hypotheses. So a trap that I see a lot of companies falling into is, hey, we need artificial intelligence, we need data science. Let's spend 2 years and $2 million building a robust data warehouse where every single piece of data is perfect and aligned. And that sounds good, but the 2 years go by, and then there's still no way to take that data and make money off of it. So a CEO who can say, "Hey, look, here's 5 hypotheses I have. I really think that hidden in our customer data is this type of customer who would really be a great target for us, but we're not doing enough to target them. What pieces of data do I need to go out and collect to prove or disprove that my theory is correct?" And then once it's proven, let's say we are looking for a new type of customer. It's proven out in the data. Now I can go to my sales and marketing team and say, hey, we proved this out in the data. We want you to double down your spend on going after this particular type of customer, or double the amount of time your sales team is spending with this particular type of customer. So it's really starting with, what ideas do you have? What do you think from your business intuition it's going to take to grow the business? And then go find the data that you need to prove or disprove your theory, rather than hoping that if you spend millions of dollars on a data warehouse, that someone will magically turn that into dollars for you.
Wow, that's really great. Right. So the data's there, right? You just
yeah. And look, I don't mean to knock data warehouses. There's a place and time for them, especially for bigger organizations who have larger IT departments. And all else equal, if you can do that, it's a great investment for your company. But for smaller and medium-sized businesses who need to grow their revenues today and don't maybe have the capital budgets, there's ways to move forward without the perfect data warehouse.
Right. Exactly. Okay. Wow. Great. All right. I'm going to take a quick sponsor break, and then I have some more questions for you.
Sounds good.
Accelerate Your Business Growth podcast is happy to be sponsored by Audible.com. And while Audible.com has thousands of titles to choose from when it comes to audiobooks, they have so much more. They've got Audible originals, guided meditations, podcasts, news. It's really amazing and incredible. Right now, one of my favorite things is the guided meditations. And I have to say that I guess one of the things that I really appreciate about Audible.com is that it's one platform where I can get all those things. Like, I don't have to go to different platform, one platform to get meditation and another to get a podcast and another to get an audiobook. So it's pretty slick. And we would love it if you would check it out. So we are offering you a free trial. you can go to audibletrial.com/businessgrowth and explore on your own. Check out some of the things you didn't really realize were there. Try them out for a little while and see how you like them. I think you're going to like them very much. Today we're speaking with Rob Ristagno about how to increase revenue by using data. Okay, so Rob, what is a product pyramid?
Yes, the product pyramid is a slate of products that range from low price to high price that can be precisely targeted to various segments within your potential market. So for example, let's take a media business, for example. At the base of their pyramid, they might have a lot of free content, things that you can read for free online. They make a little bit of money from ad dollars on it. But the idea is you want to have a lot of people in that product, even though you're not making that much money per customer. Then maybe moving up the pyramid, you might have something like a subscription, either a digital subscription or a print subscription. You're paying a little bit more, $20, $40, $60 a year. Not as many people are going to take you up on that, but they're going to be at a higher price. And then maybe above that, you have an event and you get all your loyal enthusiasts together, and it's $1,000. It's a lot of money to come to the event, and you're not going to get all your magazine subscribers to come to that, but you're going to get a good chunk of them and pay a higher price. So the idea is you want to have lots of different products along the same type of problem that you're solving, so that the people that you're bringing into your brand can start with a low risk, low cost product, and then you can move your way up the pyramid.
Okay, and would you think that could apply to any industry, or is it more valuable for certain industries than others?
It really can apply to any industry, and we see across the board a huge opportunity, especially to launch a premium tier, no matter what product you have. So if you're software, we've seen people launch services on top of their software. If you're physical good, you could launch a higher quality or an even higher quality version. You could launch a bundle of products. So really, no matter what product you are, go and talk to your best customers and ask what else they want, and they'll tell you. And this is where the data comes in, because you'll use the data to figure out who your best customers actually are. And then if you go out and talk to them, they will tell you, hey, it'd be great if you also had this, and if you also had that. And by the way, I'd love to pay you for it because I believe in your brand, and I have this real need, and if I trust that your brand can meet that need for me. Some people, there's also an opportunity to have a lower end product, but most of the time we see an opportunity to launch that premium tier.
And so I just love that, because I as you were talking, I was hearing about data mine, like a couple of different data mining ways. First, you figure out who your best customers are. That's one. Then you go talk to them. That's another one. Mm-hmm. Then maybe you do some sort of like focus group as you create these things to see how well they hit the mark before you put them out, into the atmosphere.
Exactly. And then even just building on that, that's a great point, Diane. Just building on that, you could also track how things are going after you launch new tiers, and you can set up some metrics for success. So we want at least 10% of people in our C tier to upgrade to our B tier. And if you're seeing that you're not hitting your benchmarks, maybe you didn't get the product right, or the price is too high. If you see you're exceeding those benchmarks, maybe there's a signal that there's an opportunity for an even higher tier, or maybe your price isn't high enough, or there's an opportunity to invest more marketing dollars to get even more people to upgrade. So keep looking at that data even after you launch, and track the key performance metrics, and figure out where you're winning and losing, and correct course accordingly.
Very interesting. All right. So talk to me some about, especially, given the world that we're living in right now, how can a company determine how a crisis is impacting their best customers?
Yeah. I mean, the first thing to do is go out and talk to them and focus on the relationship. So before we get into data mining, just kind of remember that we're all human, and in this environment, I think the businesses that are really recognizing that their employees, their investors, their customers, their community are people, and talking to them first as another person are doing really well. But then it's not a bad thing to listen to them and talk about their needs and figure out kind of how this environment has shaped and changed their needs. Try to get ahead of the curve and see what is a temporary trend that is going to go away once things go back to whatever the new normal is. and see, and then see, I'm not even sure you can call it the new normal anymore. No. And then also see kind of what's a permanent change. So I think, some of the things that have become clear is the new normal, how we work is going to be totally different. How we shop is going to be totally different. The event industry is going to be different. The travel and hospitality industry is going to be totally different. So just think about when you're talking to your customers, what is sort of a short-term need because we're temporarily stressed out and facing some health challenges versus what long-term trends have been permanently affected. And that's where you can start moving ahead of the curve and ahead of your competition and making those changes. And in terms of the data, how after you get some of that more qualitative input from talking to your best customers, I think it goes back to then just trying a bunch of things. And if you're back to the hypothesis-driven approach, if you think that right now, traditionally, I'm just making up an example. Let's just say we're a manufacturing company, and traditionally we've only sold 10% of our products online. We see a big shift now that people want to buy directly from us on our website rather than through channels or distributors. So we're going to invest more in our e-commerce presence, and we want to see a 30% of our sales coming through that channel within the next 12 months. So that's a number you want to keep your eye on and see if it's going in the right direction to see if your hypothesis was true or false.
I see. That's a great example because that is definitely something people are, when you were saying it, I was thinking, I know people are going through that right now, who all of a sudden weren't doing anything online, had no e-commerce and had to race to get it set up. So it's, chance it'll be a hybrid moving forward.
Yeah. And it gives you a chance to rethink how you use your sales team. Now that you can't meet in person with anyone, you're probably hindered in some areas, and that should be a signal that that's where you need to get face-to-face interactions up and running as soon as it's safe to do so. And then you're probably going to be pleasantly surprised that a lot of business moved online or to outbound calling, and an inside sales team doing some calls, and maybe that helps you rethink your sales deployment model.
Right. And talk to me some about. I'm not sure how I want to ask this question, like timeline. Like, if I'm a CEO and I'm gathering all of this data, I'm imagining a lot of it I should be able to get just by running reports through whatever system I have. But then based on what I learn and I make a decision, is there a time frame around which I should have an idea if it's working? I know that's sort of a general question.
No, I think a few thoughts come to mind on that one. Some I'll say pure data scientists get mad at me when I say this, but quick and dirty trumps perfect, because I would rather, there's going to be always some data issues. You'll spell Marriott with one R and one database and two R's in another one by mistake, or there's unfortunately going to be some data quality issues. And over the long run, you want to move to cleaning those up. But in the short run, if you just want to move fast, you're going to have to apply the 80-20 principle here and say, look, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be directionally accurate. So I would say we recommend no more than 1 to 2 months actually gathering and crunching data once you want to launch a new initiative. Huh. Then we say, hey, because the data wasn't perfect, because we had to move quickly to crunch the numbers, let's run some pilots. So instead of saying, okay, the data is telling us to launch a new widget toward our, market segment A, maybe instead of reinventing the wheel and spending a lot of money and having $1 million marketing budget, maybe we do a little bit more testing with a MVP beta type product in a smaller scale marketing thing just to prove out that it works. It depends, how much product development is needed or if it's just a change in marketing and sales strategy, but we typically recommend 4-week cycles for tests. So once you spend 1 or 2 months coming up with your strategy through crunching your numbers, then run some tests, let those tests run for about 4 weeks and see how they're going. and then reassess on a monthly basis in terms of what was a winner that you want to invest in and scale and hire people and double down, 10x your marketing budget, add some sales folks, and what didn't quite work out as you expected, and then go back to the data to figure out, was it, what did we get wrong? Can we correct that? If you can correct it, correct it. If you can't, then maybe it's time to fail fast and move on to the next thing.
Yeah, right. And is there value in bringing in outside data and adding it to the mix?
Yes, with a star next to it. We find that you're going to get most benefit and higher bang for your buck if you use your own data, because it's unique to your customer base, to your market, to your company, to your products, to your brand. That being said, adding as much data as possible into the situation only helps make models be more accurate and analyses be more predictive. But I would say start with what you have before you spend a lot of money on other lists and other people's data.
Right.
It can be expensive. It's not always accurate, and it's competitive because your competitors are also buying that data. So you're not going to really get a leg up. Again, not to say that there's never a case to buy or license other people's data, but really make sure you're maxing out what you have at your disposal before doing that.
Got it. Okay, that's valuable. Thank you for that. Okay. Shoot, I had another question for you about data, and it has totally left my head. So while I'm trying to think of it, what else do the listeners need to know about how to gather the data, or how they know when it's time to have someone else do it for them?
Yeah. I think a few things. I think one is these are brand new capabilities. So if you try to do it yourself with existing team people who have no experience, it's just going to be a much more difficult learning curve. Not to say that your team can't figure it out eventually, but for companies that we've seen successfully leverage data to grow their businesses, they've brought on people, whether it's consultants or new employees, that have been doing this their whole life, and it's second nature to them, and they can help the company move faster and with fewer mistakes. And it's partially skill set. It's also frankly partially mindset. So a lot of people who have this test and learn mentality, because they're used to working with a lot of data and experimenting and hypothesizing and testing theories. It's just a different way of thinking. And I think that's actually a good thing all companies should be adding to their culture, is this culture of experimentation and curiosity and intellectual stimulation and testing theories and being okay with guessing wrong, but we did it in a measured way and controlled way, and we learned from it. So it's a little bit of a mindset and I shift. So that's why it's helpful to bring in some people from the outside.
Yeah, right.
One thing I might pause on and just be very careful about is the temptation to bring in technology right away to solve this problem. And there are lots of amazing tech platforms out there, and we encourage people to invest in them, and they will help you grow your business. But I think it starts with getting the right people on board, getting the right strategy and set of hypotheses buttoned down first, and then figuring out what technology you need to either measure or take action on your results. Rather than starting with the technology and then hoping that it fits your need.
Wow, that's really interesting. Do you find that people go toward the technology first?
Yeah, I think I think it's human nature. I mean, it's new technology is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hey, this would be awesome, and you get wowed by the demo, and I think sometimes companies underappreciate that you just don't turn on a new piece of software and it runs itself and it grows your business automatically. You need someone to own that investment and think about how the company is going to use it and how the insights from it are going to get spread throughout the organization. So again, it comes back to the human nature, the person involved. Again, I love technology. I've been using technology my whole life. I'm not saying don't invest in technology, but I'm saying think about the human needs and the business needs first, and then license the technology. Don't get tricked by a shiny new object.
Got it. Okay, I think that is great. input. I appreciate it. Excuse me. Rob, I appreciate this information. I know I have a much clearer understanding of how this can be done. And it is not so scary anymore. So thank you. And I figure, then so can the listeners. Will you tell them how they can find you, please?
Yes, you can come to our website at sterlingwoods.com. On it, you can actually take an assessment. It's a short 10-question quiz, so to speak, and you'll get a personalized report as to how you can better use your data immediately. And I'm happy to speak with anyone personally. Shoot me an email at rob.ristagno, RISTAGNO, at sterlingwoods.com.
Wonderful. Thank you. And listeners, thank you. I'd also like to thank our sponsor, audible.com. You can go to audibletrial.com/businessgrowth to sign up for a trial and explore all of the audiobooks and programs that are available to you there. As always, continue to prosper and be curious. And until we meet again on another episode of Accelerate Your Business Growth, goodbye and good day.
Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The Name Your Price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The Name Your Price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
We are Jackie Clayton and Katie Van Horn, co-hosts of the Inclusive AF podcast. We're two diversity, equity, and inclusion peeps who love both what we have in common and what makes us different.
During the day, we use our superpowers to block bias and break down systems that are inequitable within companies and create inclusive AF places to work. We're also BFFs who have tough conversations about our different lived experience. Come have a listen and learn something new.